Season 4 brings about a bunch of new changes that are particularly or supposedly really fucking good. First of all, for the first time since Time Walking, because, you know, Time Walking might have been the first iteration, but we're gonna be playing old content. Time Walking is basically an event that lasts for a week. This is going to last for the entire season. Not only that, it's going to be the season. It's not like just, oh, it's an event, it's just have fun and run some cata dungeons. No, we're going to have dungeons from past expansions acting in the vein of the current season, with affixes in Mythic Plus, with loot tables, bumping the eye levels to what we currently have. Now, I don't know how much you know about item scaling, but if you have played WoW in any capacity for more than one patch at a time consecutively, you will know that some of the biggest issues when it comes to loot is trinkets and stuff like that, because you had in BFA, if you have played the Battle for Zara lore raid, there was that tank trinket from Opulence that was so good, DPS people in arenas were farming it, and that lasted for about 2 patches afterwards. Even doesn't matter what the eye level is. Now you have that concept of trinkets that were designed to work in a specific patch with a specific content. Take, I don't know, Dragon Spine Trophy, which has nothing to do with the dungeons that we're gonna be in, but this is just one old trinket that comes to mind. Take that trinket and bump its eye level to what we have now. That trinket was designed to work with whatever classes were at the time of the trinket's implementation into the game, not what we have now, modern WoW with modern skill sets, modern talent, and all that good stuff. So all of that gear is going to basically be bumped to modern WoW. That's gonna pose a lot of balance problems, because we don't know how Warlords of Draenor and Legion trinkets affect classes now that don't have the artifact weapon, that have legendaries, double legendaries, and tier sets. Like, that is the potential loot issue with Season 4, which is a very good point to test out in waiting for Dragonflight, right? That with also faded raids and the system of looting those faded raids with a quest of acquiring guaranteed items from a vendor, which is something that people have been asking for fucking ages, right? So you have that as well, plus also the mechanics of said dungeons and raids. You take those dungeons, you take the, what is it, Karazhan, Mechagon, Tazavesh, what is it, Iron Docks, and what was the train dungeon? Grimmerel Depot, right? From Worlds of Draenor. You take those, you bump the mechanics, damage that the bosses do, the damage that the players do, the HP of the mobs in the dungeons, you bump them all up to Season 4 level Shadowlands. First of all, they have to be balanced, right? You don't know, if you go into the Grimmerel Depot and you go to the first boss, it launches a random axe throw or whatever the mechanics are, and you die because the numbers are not balanced. That's also an issue, because look at how much the dungeons currently have been fucking nerfed. So that is the testing things that we're gonna have to do in Season 4 among all of it. That's going to conflict with Alpha Beta Dragonflight. So in an ideal world, we would have had around 2 months of Season 4 without Alpha and Beta being available, so that we could focus on Season 4 and give them the proper feedback, and then move on to Dragonflight and Alpha. But if that's true, then we're gonna have 2 months of Dragonflight Beta. So, I don't know, man. I missed a lot of comments. It's better to be delayed than to have another shitty expansion, I agree. This is first expansion I'm not pre-ordering because seems way too rushed. Dude, and there's like so many good things going for it, man. Like, they're taking some huge leaps and some huge risks with this expansion, which the premise of it is amazing, but the fact that it doesn't sound like it's gonna be enough time, like maybe that changed, man. We don't know the internal process of Team 2. We don't know how that functions. They might just have everything on the wraps, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, man. 9.3 now makes sense at this point of Blizzard's release expansions. There's no 9.3, man. 9.3 was never a thing. What up, Morks? Well, if it's been in development for quite a while already, they'd imagine the beta testers wouldn't need to spend much time. No, that's wrong, man. But testing which frees up. All of the expansions have been in development way before Alpha and Beta is released to players. Way before, years before, likely. Before players actually got their hands on the beta. This is not something new. So the argument is like, oh, they've been working on Dragonflight for longer than we expected. They've been working on all of the expansions longer than we expected. As soon as Legion was released, they started working on Shadowlands, right? To the degree to which they work on the Shadowlands is debatable, right? Did they put in 1 man-hour per day or 20 man-hours per day? I don't know, right? But they've worked on expansions before they were released a lot for all of them pretty much, right? So that's not necessarily an argument. It doesn't matter how much they work for if they don't play the game the way we do. And they're never going to be playing the game the way we do because realistically they don't have time to play the game. Maybe, or maybe they just don't like it, right? What are the chances that all of the devs on the WoW team play WoW at the highest level, right? Mythic rating, cutting edge, pushing plus 30 keys. I highly doubt they're playing even at half of that level. And we've seen Ian's shaman logs. And if you don't know, you can Google it. Let's just say I heal more on my warrior. What? All right. I don't think Season 4 is cared about that much though. Well, it's supposed to because it brings a lot of cool things that if they work, they can implement into Dragonflight. So all of the talk about everything that we have to feedback about Season 4, how is it ever going to make it into Dragonflight if the expansion releases a couple of months after Season 4 has been released? So, is there a dungeon list yet? Yes. So Season 4 will have Tazavesh, both dungeons, Return to Karazhan, both dungeons, Mechagon, both dungeons, from BFA, so all the mega dungeons. And from Warlords of Draenor, you're gonna have Grimroyal Depot and Iron Docks, because there was no mega dungeon in Warlords. Sanguine affix on the train. Jesus Christ. Yeah, see? Those things, right? Where are you gonna go? There's nowhere to go. And there's so many mobs in one cart. How are you gonna do the Sanguine, right? So there's a lot of things that need to balance. Grimroyal Depot was good, but was so good, man. Fucking amazing. I loved it. It had rails. That was the good part. Nah, it was a cool setting, man. It was a cool concept. I liked being on a train, right? I'm down for a simple X-Pack, but I'm not sold on the features. That being said, MOP wouldn't have had that many more marketable features and it was sick, not pretty. Yeah, it's not about having a lot of features, man, but I mean, my man, the grain, I mean, you can probably tell since, you know, you've been a DK Theorycrafter for a long time. Do you think DK is ready to be released? Not to mention all the other 11 classes that we don't know anything about yet. The new expansion has no new borrowed powers, very few new dungeons, so they have less work than previous expansions. Maybe, but we don't know, man, because there's still the talent section, which I think is going to be way more work than Covenants and Conduits and Legendaries combined, my perspective. And maybe the grain here, since he's been a long-time Theorycrafters, can either confirm or deny that. But that aside, you have all the other Dragonfly stuff. It's not going to be systems, but there's still stuff in the game. Profession revamp, talents revamp, UI revamp, new class, new specs, and obviously new dungeons and new raids, right? Just the same amount of dungeons, but only 4 rumored to be available in M+ so far. Probably, like, we don't know. Maybe the M+ season is different. Maybe we'll have access to all 8, but only 4 will be in the season for M+. Ian is a mythic raider. Yeah, man. I mean, his guild is... I haven't checked his logs since Nathria, I think. Nathria or Sanctum? I think Nathria. Would be bad if we don't get all 8 dungeons for M+ in Season 1. It's new. Who wants to do old content when a new expansion just dropped? Yeah, exactly, see? Well, I mean... We don't know. We don't know yet. There's too many questions so far. For also only half a previous expansion. Like, I don't mind that if they add more dungeons, right? Listen, we can speculate as much as we can, but until they're out, we don't know anything. We don't know anything. It could be amazing for all we know, and it's fine to have that benefit of a doubt. But at the same time, if we're gonna accept that argument, then it can be shit for all we know, right? So, you know, it's Schrodinger's cat. Until we have it, we don't know. It could both be good and both be shit. That doesn't mean less work, it's just different. Yeah, I think that's the most sound argument that we can make about all of this. No new borrow power has been announced so far, and there's always going to be like a new system, right? So far, from all we know, the new system is dragon riding. That's what you work towards progressing, customizing your dragon, and unlocking new dragon riding stuff. We haven't tested, we haven't seen anything about it. It could be very well be just boring or useless, right? That is the new system so far. If they're gonna do anything and announce it halfway through beta, then I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, in 10.0, they will release 4, then develop 2 more for each new patch. We'll see. Yeah, I guess, but I want new content. I want new content too, man. Could be that things from season 4 will not be implemented in Dragonflight season 1. Oh, it's not gonna make it in season 1, man. If Dragonflight is releasing at the end of December, season 1 should almost be over in terms of design by this point, or by the end of summer, let's say, right? They've stated they're releasing only 4 dungeons at the start of the Dragonflight. Yeah. It's absolutely awful from our current perspective, right? We don't know because they're releasing 4 new dungeons at the beginning of Dragonflight because they're supposed to use all dungeons to fill in the slots. Now, how does that work? Well, I don't know, because season 4 is supposed to tell them how that will work, right? You know, me personally, classes specs are the biggest thing for me. Same here, man, and they always need work. Sure, they're serviceable, but as it stands right now, Dragonflight offers more of the same we already have, just with choices, not many new toys. Yeah, I agree. Just looking at the DKs so far, the most we've gotten were Abomination Limb. No other Covenant ability was added. I think Unholy got 1 or 2 things that I didn't recognize. I don't know if they're old stuff or new stuff. I don't remember Frost having anything specifically new. Outside of conduits and legendaries becoming talents. I mean, if they really tone it down on content, how do they expect players to keep playing the first? We don't know. I mean, sure, 4 dungeons is not 8 dungeons, but we don't know what else is going to be. Like, I agree, Percy, I agree. But until the beta's fucking out, how are we supposed to know if, you know, that's not enough content? For all we know, 4 new dungeons and 4 old dungeons is more than enough to keep us busy for a patch. I can't wait to see how they are going to fuck up all the talents. I don't want to see that, man. I don't want them to fuck it up. I want to play, man. I want to enjoy WoW.